So first off, will you guys just help me out? I'm feeling a little nervous, and I need you all to participate. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, so stand up. I need everybody up, 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 up. Okay, will you just take some deep breaths with me, okay? Ready? Raise your hands up above your head. This always helps me when I'm nervous. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, everybody just shake it out. Oh, I love this. I love it. Yes. Shake it out. Come on, Danny. This is my niece, guys, and I just love her. So cute. Okay, you guys can sit down. Thanks for participating with me. Okay, so I want to get to know you guys a little bit more. Raise your hands and tell me if you want to start a business. Okay, so some of you guys, raise your hands and tell me if you want to have a family in the future. Okay, so more of you guys. Raise your hands and tell me if you've already started a business. Great. Okay, so a few of you guys. So fun. Can I just ask you, those that didn't raise your hand, why you're here? I'm just so interested by this class. Is there anybody that wants to participate and let me know why you're here? Go ahead.
You got your credit for the class.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for your honest answer. Anybody else? Bueller? Okay, go ahead.
I really like business, but I have no ideas, and so entrepreneurship is a little, I guess, out of my reach. But I feel like after listening to this whole series of all these entrepreneurs coming in, I feel like everything they're saying is things that will not only help me just generally in business, whether I am personally starting my own company or not, but will also help me in school and in life in general. They're just good skills to have, people skills, number skills, things like that will just help you be successful in whatever you want to do.
Amen. That is so true. You guys, most of you guys raised your hands and said that you wanted to have a family. And business skills apply to the family. They really do. You're running a household, and there's a lot of principles that translate over to a household. And like you said, with school or different things, these are principles that work in a lot of different areas. Is there anybody else that wants to answer why they're here? Go ahead.
A lot of my family's actually in business, and I want more of an objective look from it. So having people who are outside my family who are not closely related to what they have to say about it and their experiences.
Oh, how interesting. What do they do?
Well, my uncle and his wife, they are currently flipping houses. My parents have gone through multiple construction business and a couple of other advertising businesses as well, and they're currently trying to get into this budget process business that my grandparents learned.
Okay, so some different businesses. That is so fun. Well, they asked me to come and tell my story to you guys, and it's kind of a random one. Did Rich Christensen come and talk to you guys? Do you guys remember him? He is hilarious. I love Rich, and he wrote me into this, guys. So he is a large part of why I'm here, and so I followed unknowingly the zigzag principle when I first started. So it all started, well, first let me tell you where I'm at right now, and then the steps kind of and principles that got me here. So like Tyler said, I run an online conference for moms, and what I do is I interview different experts in different fields on motherhood. I mean, all different things, from nutrition to finances to positive discipline, all those things. And I'll tell you how it all got started in a minute, but right now we've had 178,000 moms that have attended the conference over the last 4 years. It's online. This last conference we had over 500,000 page views, and like I said, I don't know if I said this to you guys before, but we tried to focus on email, building our email list, and so that's we really haven't done a lot with social media. It's all been focused on email lists, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But we've grown our email list to 86,000. So started from scratch, and that's where we're at right now. So I'll kind of tell you how we got there, how I got there. I like to say we because it's been kind of a team effort with my whole family and other employees. But it all started, I had just had my first baby. Dean's my fourth. And I had more time at home. My husband had just left his job. He didn't know what he was going to do next, and it was Christmas time. And so I had this time, and I wanted to help out our family because I wanted some stability. I didn't know where money was going to come in and how it was going to come in. So I'd seen this website where she did different things on nutrition. And on a whim, I've never done this since, and I hadn't done this before, but I emailed her, and I just asked her how she got into what she did, and if I could do the same, like if she had any ideas. And randomly, she emailed me back and asked me if I wanted to co-author a cookbook with her, which is totally random because I know, I was shocked. I'm like, oh, okay. So she had never co-authored a cookbook before that and didn't after that. So it was just kind of this serendipitous thing that happened. But she said before she wanted to co-author with me, she said that she wanted me to like invent a carrot cake recipe for her boyfriend that was like all these different restrictions, a healthy cupcake. And you guys, I baked like 60 bazillion different recipes of this cupcake to figure out a good one. I mean, I was in the kitchen. I don't even know if I ever want to taste another carrot cupcake again. I had made so many of them. So I had to take these cupcakes to her house, to her boyfriend and her, and they had to taste them and decide if it was a good fit for me to be the recipe developer for this cookbook. So guys, I was like so nervous. But anyways, I baked these cupcakes. I'm going to slow down. I'm so nervous. This is so nerve-wracking. I don't know why. Anyways, so I baked these cupcakes. I took them to her house, and she loved them, thankfully. We co-authored the cookbook together, and it actually did really well. And so since it did really well, I had enough money to start a website. Because I was like, well, maybe I should have to have a landing page for people to go to after they've tried the recipes and after she's promoted me. So the first principle that I want to tell you guys, if you're wanting to start your own business or just in life, is align yourself with people that are farther down the road of where you want to be. So this is so helpful, you guys. Whatever you want to do, find people that are already there and align yourselves with them. Because they've gone down that path and they know what's worked, they know what hasn't worked, and they can save you some of those hard lessons learned. So anyways, I aligned myself with her, and that was huge because it kind of gave me a jumping off point that I wouldn't have had otherwise, because she helped promote and helped me promote my website and stuff. Second lesson learned, you guys. I watched her and I thought, oh, you just put up a website, create some products, put it on there, and then people just come and buy, and that's how it works. Wrong, you guys. That is not how it works. There is a lot of work. That's only a small part of the equation. A lot of work goes into marketing and having a community to buy what you're putting out there. So that's only a small percentage. Okay, so I started that with her. I started my website. I taught cooking classes at UVU, which was super fun. And then from there, I wanted to monetize my site because I was spending a lot of time working on it, and it didn't make a lot of sense to keep doing it for free. So I went to a soccer game with my aunt. I call her my aunt. She's not my aunt. She's my sister-in-law, Julie. And it's just because they're so much older than me, I think of her as my aunt, but she's actually my sister-in-law. Anyways, I went to a soccer game, and Rich Christensen was there. And she's like, you have to meet Rich. He just got back. He took his son on a trip. He takes all of his sons when they're 12 years old to another country, and they do service there for a month. So I knew right off that I wanted to align with him because I wanted that for my family. I wanted to travel. That was a big part of my life before I got married. And I wanted to take my kids and I wanted them to experience different cultures and see the way that people live. And I think it's huge for helping with entitlement to see what most people have in their lives and what they have to live on. So I knew I wanted to work with him. And again, this is back to that principle of aligning yourself with people who are farther down the road. So you know what I did? I baked cookies. And I baked cookies and I showed up at his house and knocked on his door and told him I wanted to work with him. And which I know is very unconventional, and I'm sure he's never had that happen before or since. But that goes to another principle of if you want something, you have to ask for it. People aren't going to come to you and just give you opportunities. You have to go out and seek out those opportunities. This goes for starting a business. This goes for a job that you want, a career that you want, whatever you want in life. You have to work for it, and you have to go out and you have to actually ask for it, which is harder than it sounds to. It takes guts, you guys. It took a lot of guts to go and knock on his door. And not just guts, I think a big part of business and life is the way that we think. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. And that is so true with everything in life. So, you have to have the belief that you can make things happen, and you have to think positively for things to happen. And I really believe that things align and show up for you when you think that way. So anyways, I showed up at his door. I knocked on his door, I gave him the cookies, he invited me inside. I'm sure he's like, well, we'd already met once before. Anyway, it just worked out that our values were aligned, and it worked out that he took me on as a mentee, I guess you'd say. So he was my mentor, and which was huge because, like I said, aligning yourself with people that have been there before. So the first thing that he had me do was sit down and write my values. And this was harder than it sounded, and plus, I was antsy, like I wanted to get going, and I felt like it was kind of wasting my time to sit down and write these values. Okay, another huge lesson learned. You guys, write down your values, because it helps you realize what your priorities are in life, and it also helps you make decisions. And in business and in life, there's a lot of hard decisions that have to be made. And I would venture to say that entrepreneurism is really lonely, which sounds weird, but when you're in charge and you have to make big decisions, my husband's also an entrepreneur, and especially in his line of work where you have employees and different things riding on you, it can feel really lonely. And so to have this value set that you can make decisions off of really helps. And I've used these values over and over and over in my business. Who to align with, who to partner with, who to ask on as speakers on the mom conference, if we don't align with people, or if I should take on more work or not. It's been extremely helpful. So I urge you guys to take time to write down your values. And this is going to help you, like I said, know how to make these decisions that are going to come up for you in your life. How many of you guys have written down your values? Oh, awesome. There's a few guys. Tell me what's on your values. Can I just ask?
I value competence.
Okay.
So, there's a scenario about, which things would bother us most about a job, and the thing that would bother me most is if someone was above me and they weren't as competent as me.
That's a good one. Well, then you know when you're going to look for jobs, or if you're starting your own company, what employees to look for or what boss to look for. Anybody else? Go ahead.
I put on mine desire to be there, and what I mean by that is I don't think it's for the best or the most skilled person that you need for maybe an organization, for a business, specifically on when you're doing a startup. But you want people that want to be there, people that want to make things happen, and those that will. So I think desire for me has always been a big value thing. I don't know, because it's if you're ambitious and you want something, you're going to get it.
I totally agree with you. Because I think there's a lot that you can teach someone, but that desire or passion is not teachable. It has to come from within. So if they have that, you can coach and teach them the skills that they need, but that's huge. Anybody else? You had one.
Yeah, mine is honesty. So for myself and from others. I'm a fundraiser, so that's pretty important.
Yes.
You know, the famous quote, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So be careful who you align yourself with, because that makes a difference.
Yes, a huge difference. A huge difference who you align yourself with. Anybody else? Okay, so if you haven't, take the time to write down those values because this will really help in all aspects of life. Okay, guys, one thing, so I'll just kind of move forward in my story. Let me look at my notes. Another thing that Rich taught me that is so important with business and in life, and this is really unconventional, and I'm sorry to the teachers in here if this is not what you want me to say, but shoot for a B. And what I mean by, and I totally believe this, because there is a huge difference between a B and an A in business. If you're trying to do everything perfectly, you might not ever get anything out there, and it might not ever happen because if perfectionism it's really hard if you want everything to be perfect to move anything forward. And a lot of what we learn by doing. So you're not going to know everything you need to know when you first start, which is hard. It takes a lot of courage to step forward and to learn as you go. But shoot for a B, because especially when you're juggling a family and a lot of other things in your life, this goes back to your priorities and your values. For me, my family is a huge priority, and so I'm okay getting a B in some other areas so that I can show up and be present for my family. Speaking of family, really quick, a lot of you guys raised your hands and said that you want a family. One thing that's really helped me is balance. And I have kind of another unconventional idea of what balance looks like. So our family's been able to, because we are self-employed and entrepreneurs, we've been able to take our 2 kids, and we had an around the world ticket, and we traveled literally around the world. And we took them to Sri Lanka, we took them to Thailand, we went to Sicily, we went all over the world. And just barely, we just got back from Mexico. We spent a month in Mexico with our 4 kids, which was so fun. Sitting on the beach, we did school while our little ones were sleeping. We drank coconut water out of coconuts. It was amazing. And we've been able to do that because of this unconventional life that we live. And but this idea of balance, I used to think balance looked like having everything in your life perfectly aligned. And what I've learned is that's never the case for me. You know, you have a brand new baby, and do any of you guys have kids? Okay. Anybody else? Yes. You know that when a baby enters your life, everything shifts and you take care of this little one, and that's where you're at. And then when they get a little bit older, you can shift the other way. So this idea of balance is pushing really hard at one thing that you want to move forward and then swinging back the other way. And the reason my family went to Mexico is because right before that, I'd put on the mom conference, and it was a lot of work. And we sat down our family and we let them know, like, we're going to be really busy and we need you guys to pitch in and we need everyone to help out and be okay if some nights aren't home cooked meals or different things. And then we're going to swing the other way and we're going to take off work and we're going to spend a month in Mexico. And that's really worked for our family, this idea of balance. And I know it doesn't work for everyone, but I encourage you guys to think outside of the box a little bit. You know, you are the creators of your life, and you're able to create it however you want to create it. So think outside of the box a little bit. Okay, so me and Rich sat down. We had my website already going, and we decided we wanted to monetize it with a membership site. So I created a program that every month it taught a new principle on nutrition. And I think I've learned more from my failures than from my successes. Does that ring true for you guys? How many of you guys have failed and learned something from it? Okay, awesome. Failure is wonderful. I think we get so scared to fail that we never start trying. And failure is great because it teaches you what doesn't work, and then you learn what works, and you can go after it. So I set up this membership site, and I made a major mistake. You know what I didn't do? I didn't ask my community what they wanted. I just went ahead and created something, which sounds so basic, but people do it all the time. They go out, they have this great idea, they create it, and they never stop and ask what people actually want. So there's a fabulous book. It's called Ask. I encourage you guys, if you want to do any online business or if you want to create a product, to read this book. It's great because he kind of goes through the way that you ask people what they want. And from there, once you know what they want, then you move forward and create. So I created this membership site. I created it from what I thought people wanted, and it was really costly. So at one point we had 500 people in it, so it was okay, but that just covered the cost of creating it. So that's another thing when you're doing business. Really look at what's going out. And another thing that I'm just starting right now, and I've been doing this for a while, I can't believe I haven't done it before, is figure out how much you're making per hour. So right now I've been clocking how much I'm working, because as an entrepreneur, you can work around the clock. You really can, especially if you're online. So clock how much you're working, see how much you're bringing in, and see how much you're making per hour, and then you can know where to spend your time and what's just the fluff stuff and not to spend time there. Because sometimes we get spinning our wheels and create all these things that don't bring in income when really we just have to focus on the things that do, which is, for me, my email list. Okay, so Ask, I told you about that. So we created this membership site. It went okay, but it just wasn't sustainable. After the 12 months, I was like, okay, wait, I don't want to keep doing this every month. I have a family. I want to focus on them. We went on that around the world trip. So at that point, I went to a mastermind. And this took a lot of courage, guys. Do you know what a mastermind is? Raise your hand if you know what a mastermind is. Okay, you do? Okay, great. A mastermind is where a whole bunch of people get together, not a whole bunch, like 20 people, give or take, get together, and they're all successful in one area. So this mastermind was business people that were successful in business. And everyone sits down, and it can be run different ways, but you basically kind of present where you're at, a problem that you have, and it's a think tank. Everybody sits around and helps you figure it out. Or they tell what's successful for them. So this is, again, align yourself with people who are farther down the road, because these masterminds are so powerful to get ideas on what's working for people and what's not working for people, and to have people help you troubleshoot. Sometimes when you're so in the thick of things, you can't see. So anyways, I went to this mastermind, and it took courage to go. And that's another principle that I want for you guys. Just to realize that courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is doing things scared, doing things that scare you. And that's where growth is. Not just like, you look at people that are so successful and you think that they haven't ever been scared, or it comes really naturally or easy for them. And I totally disagree. Anybody that's ever done anything successful has at one point been scared. It's scary. It's scary to put yourself out there. It's scary to do something that you don't know if it's going to go or not. So I encourage you guys in your life to be courageous, to do things that scare you. So I'm there in the mastermind, and we asked the question, how do we build our email list? Because we realized that there's a lot of power in an email list. And at that time, everybody was focusing on social media. And that's another thing, you guys, don't try to do it all. And especially if you want to prioritize having time to enjoy your family or your life, do one thing well. So we decided to prioritize email list, and someone said that they had just started a summit online. He was the first one to ever start it, where he interviewed different people in the health field. Well, I thought it was brilliant, and at the time, it had never been done in this space for moms. So I decided to go for it and create the first conference for moms online. And it was a huge undertaking, and it almost buried me. And I realized that it was way out of my guardrails. So I set up guardrails how much I'm willing to work a week, and that's how I protect my family time, because like I said, you can seriously work around the clock. So I have set out amount of hours that I'm willing to work, and it blew past all of those. And so the next year, I felt really passionately that I wanted to do it again, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. And one thing that's really helped me in my business is prayer. And it's huge for me. There's a lot of things that I have no idea how to move forward. I don't know who to align with. I don't know if it's a great idea or not to invest in different things or to put money in different things. And my husband's an entrepreneur as well. And prayer is a huge part of how we guide our lives. And so I encourage you guys to find a higher power or someone that you, something bigger than you to lean upon. Because like I said, entrepreneurship can be lonely. Okay, 10 minutes to end. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up because I want to hear from you guys. So I will wrap up right now. Okay, that first conference, I forgot to tell you guys, I got sued. It was crazy hard, but I felt passionate that I needed to keep going. And so I prayed about it, and I had an impression to align myself with another website, and we partnered, and I was able to keep my guardrails and have time with my family and keep moving the mom conference forward. Okay, so that is the last point of, if you're starting a business, sometimes we keep marching down this road, and we have this idea and we want to move this forward, and really there's something else within your skill set that's going to be more profitable. So be willing to pivot. So I realized that my membership site wasn't as profitable as we wanted it to be. The mom conference was very profitable, and so we pivoted, and I ran with that, and I really haven't done anything with Unconventional Kitchen since that, because here is what was profitable and where I was passionate about. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah.
Sorry, the first lady that you said that you kind of got into this with, how you emailed her and asked about it and co-author.
Yeah.
Did you know her previously, or did you just find her like on Instagram, or how did you get that contact?
I just emailed her. I didn't know her, nobody knew her, and I didn't even ask to co-author. I just said, I love what you're doing. How can I get involved?
So did you find her? How did you find her? I guess is the question. Was it like Instagram or just like?
Yeah, this is like before Instagram. I'm old, so I just found her website, and I found her contact email, and just emailed her directly, which is crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, reach out to people. You'd be surprised. I have people email me all the time that are good editors, or that are good at managing people or social media and different things, and you'd be surprised. People need help. Like, they're wanting good help. So reach out to people.
I just want to know what, like, I don't know if you can be specific, but what was your, like, limit of hours worked per week?
Yes. Here's you're running your business, right?
Yeah.
So you know, there's a joke that says, I quit my job of 40 hours a week to be an entrepreneur, to work 90 hours a week. And it's true. You can work yourself to the bone. Since I have a family, I am like 10 to 15 hours a week, which is pretty low, but I have 4 little kids, and I don't want to miss out on them growing up. But yeah, if you're in a different space, but be deliberate about those hours. You can work and work and work and work, and you're spending hours that really aren't driving anything forward, or they're not profitable, what you're spending time on. So track what is profitable, what hours that you're spending that actually create money, and then spend your time there, and then get rid of the rest.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's your business?
So I own a marketing company called Millennial Marketing.
Oh, cool.
Town, so.
Millennial marketing?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
That's awesome. Does anybody else have any questions? Go ahead.
Do you work from home, or is there like a separate space that you go to when it's time to work?
That is a good question. I work from home and it's crazy town. It is crazy town. I have lots of kids. It works for me because I can like get them down for a nap and then I can work, or I work early in the morning. Like sometimes when the mom conference is going, I'm up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, because that's the time that I have to work, or late at night. So I work from home. Okay.
Well, you talked about how you organize your time in order to, be with your kids so you don't miss them growing up and stuff, but is there something that you did to make sure you don't lose out on that relationship with your husband? Because he's probably working just as much as you are.
Good question. Yes, that is so hard because we both work for ourselves. And so we both can work around the clock, like I was saying. So, one thing that is crucial in marriage, write this down. Date night. It seems so simple, but it is seriously crucial. And every time we get away from it, I'm like, we've got to get back to that. And the other thing is, we try to get away together as a couple. So every year, for the last 4 years, we've gone away around January. We go for a trip and we write down our goals for the year. And we're just deliberate about carving out that time. But I'm not going to lie, you have to be deliberate because it is hard. It's hard. I just had Dean, and so we have to get back to those principles that work. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to go on date night. And you guys, we just went on date night this last week for the first time in a long time. It was wonderful. So yeah, those work. Carving out that time, being deliberate. Anything else?
So you decided to pivot to develop mom conference. How does that actually make money? How did you monetize that?
Okay, so the way it works is it's a 3-day conference, and it's free for the 3 days. So for 24 hours, we have 5 to 6 speakers, and all moms can come on and listen. And then we shut down that day, and those speakers, they can't download them or listen to them again, and we open up the next day. And throughout the conference and at the end of it, we sell a package of all of those interviews, and we have the speakers contribute different programs, products, ebooks, things like that. So we sell the package. And then we also do affiliate marketing. So they promote their product, whether speaking or program, and then we get a cut of that. And we take on sponsors. So there's three ways that we've monetized it. But it's getting crazy because now that I've done it, it has been multiplied and multiplied and multiplied, and it's getting very crowded. And so right now we're in the thinking of how to pivot and do like the next thing to be ahead of the wave a little bit.
So, do you have other people working for you, and what do you do about that? About outsourcing, or getting other people to collaborate with you?
Yes, I do have people that work for me. What's been tricky is I usually hire moms, because we're just all in it together and we get it, and they have that flexibility of hours, and they're just looking for a few hours on the side. I'm not looking for someone full-time. But that has been tricky because they have babies and they quit on me, and so I have to find somebody else. But yes, I do have people that work for me. And then tell me the question about how do I manage it, or?
Yeah, just, it sounded like you need more than just you at 15 hours a week to make all this happen, so I was just wondering, how you...
Okay, so a huge tool that we've used to collaborate with other people, because we have a videographer, we have a lot of different people that do different things, is Basecamp. We've used that. Basecamp is paid, and so it's not my favorite. So the one that we use right now is called, I can picture it. It's an app on my phone. Starts with an S, Slack. You guys heard of Slack? It's great. Slack's great for even like if you're collaborating on a project in school, because you can assign different people different things, and you have hashtags for different, say we're talking about the videos that need to be edited, or say we're talking about marketing. You can have hashtags for different groups and invite people that are collaborating just on that, and you can keep everything in one place. So Slack's been awesome for that.
Aside from forming connection with someone further down the line than you and taking the first move, are there any habits you found to be particularly useful when it comes to finding success?
Yes.
You wish you could have developed sooner?
Okay, so in that same mastermind, there was a woman called Nancy. She's been incredibly successful in business, and she taught me something that's so important, and it's your morning habits. And the way you start off your day, I feel like the way I start out my day dictates how the rest of the day goes. So that's why I get up early. I spend like 5 minutes just breathing or meditation or something that just wakes me up. And then I usually read something inspirational, pray, and set out the day. Think about like what has to happen during that day. And one more thing that's been extremely helpful is I don't try to do it all because I can't. And so what I do is I pick A, B, C priority, and that's it. So I have a huge running list of everything that needs to happen, but I only look at A, and then I only look at B when A's done, and then I only look at C when B's done, because a lot of times you want to do what's the easiest or most fun, and sometimes that's not what's going to drive things forward. Usually what's going to drive things forward is the things that are the hardest to do or you don't want to do. Not always, but usually I've found that to be the case. Hard conversations or things that have to happen, or just things that are work. So ABC priorities has been huge to like move things forward and not try to just get stuck in the weeds or do things that aren't driving things forward. And morning rituals, yeah. You're welcome.
Why did you decide to like pull the trigger on doing one conference? Because I know a lot of people like come up with ideas, but it's hard for them to actually like follow through with it.
Yes, it's so true. I think for me, I just had, and I was just talking about it with Marcy. Marcy was like, you were like a crazy person when you were thinking of the mom conference, because it was just in my brain. Like couldn't get it out of my brain, and I knew I wanted to see it happen. What made me act on it? Courage. I think a lot of times we have these great ideas and we talk ourselves out of it. We think of every reason it can't happen, or there's a better time to make it happen, or we don't have the skill set yet to make it happen. And I would just urge you guys to act. Just take that first step and things will keep coming. Because do you have an idea or something that you want to move forward?
I mean, not in particular, but like I want to be regular right now, so.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. I would add to that, like, don't be afraid to work. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. It is a lot of work, but it's afforded us some pretty awesome opportunities with our family. But yeah, just take action. Just like figure out what the next step needs to be. Take that next step, then the next step, then the next step, and pretty soon you'll be farther down that path. But I guarantee if you have an idea and you wait on it, a year from now you'll wish you would have started right now. Because there's things that I'm like, I wish I would have done that a year ago. Sorry, I will stop talking.
Hey, I want to say one more thing about Desi, which is that she's been asked to speak at these events 1,000,000 times and to give interviews and so forth. This is the first time she said yes. So I usually say that we're lucky to have our guests, and I almost always mean it, but I definitely mean it today. So we're super lucky to have you. This is a small token of our gratitude.
Thank you.